Hello, I'm Aaron Amar, a graphic and type designer here in the Philippines. I've been creating fonts before as a hobby aside from being a graphic designer, and then later found myself in love with the magic of creating typefaces. And now I'm exploring as a non-professional, self-taught type designer with a purpose to empower or express Filipino culture and its rich history through type design.
Hi, from Manila. My name is Lloyd Zapanta. I'm a graphic designer and a type-based illustrator. Hi! Say hi. Hi. Yes. So my name is Lloyd Zapanta. I'm a graphic designer and a type-based illustrator based here in the Philippines. And I'd like to develop more Filipino-themed typefaces that are based or inspired by everyday life and also various local subcultures. Yeah, so while I'm not a professional typeface maker, I'd like to do this so that I can spark initial interest about Baybayin. And for today, I hope to do the same. We're more than happy to share to Granshan a little bit of primer about Baybayin, one of the lost Philippine scripts. And it's entitled Back to Life. Baybayin is a revived Philippine script. So I hope you enjoy this one.
To start, Baybayin is one of the ancient Philippine scripts that existed before Spanish colonization happened. This writing script was used in regions where Tagalog is the native language, but this was also used by its nearby regions such as Bicolano and Ilocano. Why we said it's one of the ancient Philippine scripts is because there are other local scripts that existed within the country such as Hanunoo, Buhid, and Tagbanwa. From the root word of baybayin, baybay in Filipino is a verb word that means to spell, to explain, or to enumerate. But also, baybay in Tagalog means side or edge, which mostly pertains to rivers or seas. Hence, baybay ng dagat means seashore or seaside. Now let's talk about the forms. According to one of the recent studies about baybayin, the script was formed in the shapes and wavy edges of taclobo or giant clams that can be found in baybay dagat or seashores. This is according to Bonifacio Comandante Jr. Baybayin has said to originate from Indonesian and Hindu scripts as well. This, on the other hand, has been the longer historical study. The early Filipinos created baybayin to write songs, messages, or letters on such materials as bamboo, wood, leaves, and rocks. This writing system was found in some artifacts, such as rocks with engraved baybayin script. Some were written on paper using ink, probably during the early years of Spanish colonization era, and one of the artifacts was from Doctrina Christiana, a book that was used by the Catholic Church brought by the Spaniards to teach the early Filipinos with Christianity. One of the spreads of this book is a baybayin script on the left page and its Romanized translation on the right. These and other artifacts proves the existence and how to read or write baybayin before this writing system got dissolved and was replaced by the alphabet system here in the country.
Let's proceed on how the Baybayin script works, shall we? So Baybayin consists of 17 base characters, 3 for vowels and the rest are for consonant-vowel combinations that are initially paired with the sound A. A, ba, ka, da, e, ga, ha, I, la, ma, na, nga, pa, ra, sa, ta, u, wa, and ya. That is the Filipino alphabet. It may vary per region, but this is what the Tagalogs from Luzon use. That's how I remember it from primary school. For the vowels, A has its own character. Meanwhile, the E and E equivalent share the same character. Same goes with O and U. For the consonants, here are the alphabet counterparts. As you may have observed, a lot of the characters from the Latin alphabet are not present, right? So for example, we don't use C and Q in majority of our local languages. So these can be replaced with, say, K or in Baybayin, Ka. Meanwhile, this character or unique character rather, represents ng or nga, which is the same sound as ng in the word singer, for example. Each consonant is combined with a by default if it doesn't have a kudlit, which is a mark that looks like a diacritic that replaces or removes the vowels inside a consonant character. A consonant with a dot above replaces the vowel a in a consonant character with e or e sound. The dot below, meanwhile, replaces a with o or u sound. And the one with the cross or X below removes the vowel of the character. Same goes with the curve at the lower right part of the character, which is called pamudpod, and is more considered a more native way on how to cancel vowels. Since the characters already have symbols above and below, there is actually no opportunity for this writing system to further differentiate words with the same spelling but with different meaning. So, reading with Baybayin or in Baybayin requires a bit of context reading. For example, sawa as in fed up, and sawa, which can mean a python or a snake, or bukas, which means tomorrow, and bukas, which can mean open. There are few versions of pagbaybay or spell in Baybayin. The first one doesn't have cruz kudlit or vowel cancelling mark. What happens when a spelling a word that has a consonant with no vowel on its right, the character will be dropped or hidden. This system is called B17 or Baybayin 17 as it only has 17 characters because da and ra are allophonic or interchangeable in our language. The next one has a cruz kudlit and this is called B17 plus or B17X. The most modern one has separate characters for da and ra characters for more clarity. The ra character has a line under it to indicate how to read or pronounce it, or at least distinguish it. This is called B18 or B18X. Baybayin only has two punctuation marks, a one line that acts as a comma or a phrase or verse splitter, while two lines meaning full stop or period.
Today, Filipinos don't use these old scripts anymore, as these were popularized centuries ago. But it was never erased at all. Thanks to the discovered and documented artifacts of Baybayin writing, it was still being taught briefly in history class. And with the help of House Bill number 1022, also known as National Writing System Act, the preservation and protection of this writing system had been made stronger as its purpose was to mandate the use of it in public places and signs along with the existing ones. However, there was an argument in this law as they said that it was not a necessity, and what about other local Asian scripts in the Philippines? Also the fact that it was mostly used by our folks for aesthetics or for branding purposes only. It somehow loses its soul as it was only used secondarily and not a priority or the main writing system. But because time changes everything, language is no exception. And Baybayin can't be standardized to modern Filipino language, for it will be disrespectful to revise it. Baybayin can only be used correctly in Tagalog and local languages, and using it for English-based or foreign names, while it is possible, can be dodgy and prone to errors. Nevertheless, the purpose of exploring and being creative with Baybayin in today's time is to showcase our identity as a Filipino and appreciate the art of this script that we can call our own.
Agreeing with Aaron here, so to add, Baybayin serves as a pre-colonial writing system but only for a certain part of the archipelago, which happens to be near the economic, cultural, and administrative center of the country, Manila, intensifying the so-called Imperial Manila narrative, easily spreading the regional culture's influence to the whole of the country. The Philippines is naturally divided by seas and mountains. That's why ethnic groups have also adopted different ways of living, including education and, of course, the writing system. With this, it is very understandable why it can be a bit problematic to attempt to have the whole country use only one alpha syllabary. Nonetheless, Baybayin enjoyed a slow yet stable resurfacing in the internet thanks to the likes of Mr. Norman De Los Santos and Christian Cabuay, Filipinos who are both based in the United States. They have created resources that inspired locals enough to take a look in this almost forgotten writing system. Despite Baybayin resurfacing and becoming just an aesthetic choice for Filipinos nowadays, it is still a welcome progress in the field of Philippine history, since Filipinos have always been curious of its culture before the Spaniards conquered the islands. We've lost over 300 years of history under different colonizers, but at the end of the day, each part of any salvageable history has to be retold or at least reused in a certain way. For example, Baybayin is still present in the currently used version of the Philippine peso banknotes and coins. On the lower part of the bill, you can see the phrase Filipino or Filipino when you put it against the light. The typeface used was actually made not by a Filipino, but a Canadian named Paul Morrow in the 90s who personally visited and immersed himself here for a while. We also have the P character, especially in the 1 peso coin. Philippine passports have phrases in Baybayin as well. Fast forward to today, many local designers have come forward with their own versions, creations, typefaces based in Baybayin, including Aaron and I. In addition, we hope you can check these amazing creatives also who have been giving more life to one of our local writing systems such as Jad Maza, Taipan Lucero, Chris Denmar, and more. By the way, did you know that Google also developed a Baybayin version under Notosans? This makes Baybayin easier to type via Google Keyboard in Tagalog. All in all, as Baybayin enthusiasts, we understood the assignment, and we still have a long way to go. With anything that we have so far, we've already considered these as our collected small wins. Shedding brighter light to a historical artifact is already a milestone. To end this, if you happen to be interested in Baybayin, a lot of resources are now continuously popping up online. And while we don't have personal copies to share, there are a few books available around here in the Philippines and possibly abroad like the United States. Again, thank you so much, Gradjan, for the invite and the opportunity to present something new to your audience. And to the viewers of this recorded talk, we hope you find our Baybayin interesting. So from Aaron and I, thank you. Merci, grazie, muchas gracias, dankeschön. Have a good day.